What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wheeling nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back again! Oh, and I'm so happy. It's been like more than 2 weeks since I've had time to drop a video. Oh, this feels so good. And look who I got with me. I got Alex!
Hey!
Whoa! All right, so everyone else is left for the day. Saturday, game day. We had a great time today. Alex is the last one left. As usual, the last meeple standing, sitting is right here. All right, so we played a couple of games today. First time games, so we decided we're going to drop a couple of 20-sided shots.
Yeah.
And the first game that we played today, a brand new game, is an Osprey game. Came out a few months ago. London. Now, this is a game that takes place that has to do with the Great Fire of London in 1666 that burned everything down to a cinder. And the city had to be rebuilt. So in this game, we were playing architects, landowners that are trying to have our vision of what new London is going to be, come true. And basically, this is a victory point system game.
Yep.
And it's a card management game. You definitely... there are some cards. We'll talk about them in a minute. So many paupers. So much poverty in London. Oh my God. All right. So, Alex, is this like anything you played before? What comes to mind?
Oh, I mean, a little bit of Race for the Galaxy, and that's a big stretch. Just because you play cards, you use cards, you spend cards to play cards, which I always think is a cool mechanic, because then you're turning cards into a resource beyond just what they...
The Pandemic has a similar situation, too, with the way the cards are used.
Right. Yeah, so but other than that, man, I think it's pretty different from a lot of what I've played.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, before we get any further, sort of a spoiler right up front, I hate this game. I hate this game because I love it. And this game is tough as hell. I love this game and I hate it. Oh.
Yeah, I lost something like, what was it, like 34 points at the end of the game just because I had so much poverty.
Oh, you did, and you had the loan. Okay, so in the game, you like Alex was saying, you're playing, you're discarding cards to play the cards, and you're playing these cards in front of you, building a city.
Yeah, building your city, and you have your boroughs. Mm-hmm. So you have like two sets of cards. You got the big borough cards, which give you kind of ongoing effects, and then you have all these little city cards that you have in stacks. And those give you one-time effects when you run your city, and they typically flip over, and so they're one and done.
And you stack them however you want. You make as many of these building stacks as you want, and you're going to need several out in the game.
Oh God!
I mean, my original idea going in after I spent like a week reading the rules and going through it and being ready for this, I went in thinking to myself, there's no reason why I'm ever going to need more than 3 city stacks out. That'll definitely cut down on the negative point situation. No.
Yeah.
No, I think at the end of the game I had like 7 stacks out because you just can't help it because you want to get effects from cards and they have to be face up, and if they're on top of another face up card, then that previous face up card's not doing you anything. So you have to make another stack, and you get one thing to do each turn. We should point that out too.
Yeah.
Is that every turn you get one thing to do. You have to draw a card, and then you get one thing that you get to do, such as building a city, buying land. You can just draw 3 cards and do nothing else, or you can, and this is where you both get screwed, and where you make out for points,
right.
And that's running your city, and that's the phase where the more like stacks you have and the more cards in your hand, by the end of that, you're just generating poverty.
Yeah,
everything in this game generates poverty. It's so hard to get away from that,
and I kind of love that. Is there's a huge balancing negative points in this game.
Yeah.
Like you reach a point and
man.
you're getting you can get victory points from this card, and you're looking at it and it's like I get 4 victory points. That is a lot of victory points. This one takes away 2 poverty. That's effectively 6 victory points. Yeah, I gotta take those 2 poverty. Like
yeah, it's like you start backwards engineering the math of the victory point condition endpoint system.
Yeah,
you have to start doing that.
Yeah,
and the strategy in this game, because of that, because you're trying to manage your poverty level, you're trying to manage how many stacks you have. I mean, there were so many times I had all these great cards that I was just waiting to run my city and activate them. But I couldn't because either I didn't have enough money to pay for the extra cost that it needed to do it, or I didn't have it was always something that one time I totally didn't do it because I knew at the end of that turn I was gonna have the maximum of 9 cards in my hand. I had like 5 stacks out, and each one of those things ends up more poverty for you. Yeah. And it's just like this decision making process that you've got to do about figuring out, holy mackerel, I got to do this, but it's gonna so much poverty. Have I said that yet? So much poverty in London. Oh, not nowadays. I'm sure it's fine. I've never been there. Nothing against London. It looks like a beautiful city. Sure, I'd love to visit it one day. But in 1666, it's just and you got lucky. You got luckier than me with some of those card draws. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah.
So what did you have at the end? 2? I had 5 paupers in my hand.
5 paupers. I had 2. I got 2 pretty early, but I think John was keeping pace with me, and then I stopped getting paupers, and John's just draws cards. Another pauper. Half of his hand.
And you can't do anything.
Paupers.
They sit in your hand basically just to generate poverty levels when you run your city.
Yep.
There's like 1 or 2 cards that we found. Actually, only one during the actual gameplay for our first impressions here.
Yeah.
There was only 1 card that ever came, and that was at the end of the game.
I got it at the very end of the game.
That was your last turn.
Couldn't even use it. But that card lets you get rid of paupers. So you need special cards to get rid of paupers. Otherwise, they just fill up your hand and just generate poverty whenever you run the city.
I had 5 of them, and the most you can have in your hand is 9. That only gave me 4 cards that I had the chance to play around with as far as building my city and activating a build. It just was horrible. I hate this game. But I love it. I'm keeping it. It's going to be in my shelves for a long time. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No matter how much I hate this game, I love playing it, and that's just my first impression of it.
And I think it's worth saying that this game's really deep strategically, but rules-wise, I didn't think it was hard to pick up. I mean, it was like a 10-page rulebook, maybe. Yeah. And the rules themselves are pretty straightforward, which is really cool that it's like a game that you can pick up. I mean, we got through the rules in 15 minutes, and you pretty much pick it up the first game pretty quickly. It's just strategy, like it's deep and it weighs you down.
It does. And especially you have besides your initial draw at the beginning of your turn, drawing the 1 card, everything else comes down to just 1 action a turn. Now, there's been other systems that have done that, and it seemed like so much more is getting done.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I find it there's a certain level of stress that a board game can bring that I think is fun. Yeah. And this brings it. But, man, it brings it. It is right at that line of about to throw it out the freaking window. I don't know what else to say. As far as the first impression goes, I definitely need more gameplay into it. I definitely have to figure out some deeper strategies in the game. But for my personal first impression thought, wow.
Yeah, same with me. And I really want to get this out with more people because it'll spread those, hopefully, spread those poppers out. Because, I mean, if you have 5 poppers in a 5-person game, like, you're in trouble. Or 4-person game.
I'm like a McDonald's at 42nd Street in 3 a.m. I just get all the homeless people coming in. That's
they just squat in your burrows. They're like, oh, this is the nice part of town. I'm gonna hang out here. Yeah.
It was the nice part of town. So overall, my first impression: play this game. Play this game and be prepared to have your mind go through a cheese grater when it comes to trying to figure out exactly what you're going to do on each of your turns to maximize your chance of winning. Because, shiza, that is not easy.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a number of plays to really develop a strategy, I think, in this. I don't think you can figure it out after 1. I think it's going to take you a few plays to to even just have an idea of what your strategy is going to be.
What does make it, I want to say this before it's over, what does make it a little bit easier, what makes it a little bit more manageable is how it's not completely the luck of the drawer.
No.
It can be, when it's your turn to draw, if you want to, you can just draw blindly off of the face down, stack the pile right there. But there's also the game board itself is what you discard to.
Right.
So when you're going to draw a card, you do have control over, there's something on the board that Alex put down or Alice put down or something, and I could really use that card. You do have the chance to get it. So it's not all just blind luck.
Right, and then there's other cards like the burrows. I had one that lets you look at the top 3 cards. So there's a lot of cards that give you more decisions, which is great.
Or help you manipulate the deck a little bit.
Right,
and that definitely
so
helps.
it's not completely blind and random.
But yeah, if one of your buddies has this game, get it on the table. If it's at your local board game cafe kind of place or your game store, check it out. See if you can get it on the table there and try this game out. If you like a strategy game, if you like the kind of games where you got to sit down and you got to figure out not only a strategy, but from turn to turn, how you have to adapt your strategy compared to what the other players have done, this game, I think, is really going to suck you right into it. Unfortunately, if you don't like games like that, if you're more of just a Ameritrash, get in, roll the die, do damage, I don't think you're going to enjoy this. But even if you just slightly like the strategy games and trying to figure out what to do with your hand of cards, you're going to love this game. What do you think?
I think so, too. And another good thing is it's the same size deck no matter how many people you play with. So the time should be the same. Yeah. I don't see a whole lot of time being added for more players, which is something I always look for in a game is consistent play length with more players.
Also, I don't think this is necessarily, again, from a first impression point of view, I don't think this is necessarily a gateway game.
No, this would not be a gateway game that I would choose.
No. I mean, it's not. You just don't throw this on the table like you do like a zombie dice or something and be like, hey, let's try this for and see how you feel about it.
Right. No.
So you have to be a little bit into a gamer, and you have to like the strategy games. But if you do, Martin Wallace's London is probably the game that you're gonna like. Just to let you guys know, what is it there? It's 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. That could go a little bit longer. Because just like a chess game can go longer because you're going to be spending. You could potentially be spending so much of your time studying your cards and going over the scenarios. It could definitely make the game. That's what happened to us.
And it depends where you're drawing from. If you're drawing a lot from the piles that are out versus like discarding every time and drawing.
Because that's when the game ends. The game ends when your drawer pile is dead. When all the cards of that are gone, that's when the game ends, and you do the system of tallying up the points,
right,
and negative the points, and then you figure out who won the game. So yeah, if you're just drawing from the deck, the game's gonna go faster.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we were manipulating that board
a lot. Oh man, all the time.
So also about 14 and up, Osprey Games, London by Martin Wallace. Check this game out.
Yeah, great one.
We are